It's Christmas! A little globe. I always keep thinking the tree should be green. My little cardinal. You can't really see it when it lights up. But there you go. It's Christmas. Because it's Holiday in Death. Book 7 in my Eve Dallas J.D. ROBB, must read series. If we have time. My list of reading today is absolutely extensive. It's probably, they'll probably get longer, but I enjoyed this book so much. There's so much I want to share. If we have time, I don't know if the video runs really long, we'll read the excerpt from this. It's the same book. I have 2 copies of the same book. Actually, no, because it's Midnight in Death. What does this say? Okay. And it's also an audiobook. So anyways, this is Christmas. It's Christmas. And do I have this one in a... Holiday in Death. J.D. ROBB, Eve Dallas. Eve is a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. And Roarke is her husband, and Mavis is her best friend, and Leonardo is her +1. Peabody is her assistant and later future partner. Feeney is captain of EDD, and her former mentor. And McNabb works for Feeney up in EDD in electronics. He is our new character. He was introduced in the last book. I thought we might see somebody in this one, but we didn't, so it's probably it might be the next Christmas book that this kid shows up. But this is Eve and Roarke's first Christmas as a married couple. We also have Nadine, Whitney, Dr. Miriam, and Charles Monroe. We haven't seen Charles Monroe in a while. He is our licensed companion. And oh, by the way, this is the D. Louise book series, and I'm Christina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smanchy stuff going on here. Eve Dallas. Okay, so, my pine cones. They don't make these anymore. And I will never, ever light those. Ever. And I have another set. I have 32 of them, I think. I forget how many. But I have a tremendous lot. There's supposed to be one in each shelf as a decoration. I do have some on the table that I've been burning for about 10 years now. You use a candle warmer to burn these things, they'll burn forever. So anyways, this is a gentleman, criminal, horrified criminal, gay criminal. Well, I don't know that yet. But, bring this in. He's killing women and men during the Christmas season. And he is leaving remnants of the 12 days of Christmas. Now, first, as you know, Eve had a difficult childhood. And, so she has, because she's become comfortable with Roarke, because she's becoming comfortable with Roarke, she's remembering more stuff. She's having more nightmares. And, Roarke is kind of hesitant to leave her alone at night. He wants to be there when she has her nightmares. So she's had a nightmare, and she's up in the middle of the night. And he happens to call her. And he was just going to leave her a little voicemail. But, she was up. Darling Eve. We like the darling Eve. His voice was like cream over strong Irish whiskey. Why aren't you sleeping? Because I'm awake. She knew what he'd see as he studied her. There was so little she could hide from him. He'd see the shadows of bad night hounding her eyes, the paleness of her skin. Uncomfortable, she shrugged and pushed a hand through her short, disordered hair. I'm going into Cop Central. I've got paperwork to catch up on. He saw more than she realized. When he looked at her, he saw strength, courage, and pain, and a beauty in those sharp bones, that full mouth, those steady, brandy-colored eyes. I'll be home tonight. I thought you needed a couple days up there. I'll be home tonight. I miss you, Lieutenant. Because he's worried about her. He knows she's had the dream. Okay. Then. Now remember, I don't read the plot line. And if you could really please check out my previous video on this book where I do review it and do talk about the plot line. But in this, I'm just reading. I haven't read my books in 2 years, since 2023. I do a yearly reread. And I didn't do the yearly reread last year because of my channel here. And I need to read these books. It's just, I have to. They're my emotional support books. So, I'm trying to figure out how to do a reread, how to do these again without going through them again. And I decided that I could just read them this time. So, I'm going to put my original review in the description. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe. Because no one watches my channel because my thumbnails are horrible. Because I use the title of the book. I don't make up some title like, oh, have you read this yet? Or, where did I find this? Or something like that. Oh, what am I reading now? So you have to click on it to find it. I'm not that kind of person. I'm talking about this book. That's the title of my video. Holiday and Death. I'm just saying. They keep telling me no one's watching my videos because my thumbnails are bad and my titles are bad. Excuse me. I'm talking about Holiday and Death. That's the title of my video. Period. Sorry. Got on my horse. I missed it. Let me go back a page. So she goes into the house. Oh, wait a minute. Eve was an orphan. Her father was horrific to her. Absolutely horrific. Then she spent years in foster homes where it was even more horrific. Mentally horrific. Her father was physically horrific. The foster homes were mentally horrific. They did mental stuff to her. So she's not used to social settings. She's very slowly gaining friends and a friend circle. And she just would rather face gangs or chemi heads in an alley in a showdown than be social. And this is the Christmas party. This is their first Christmas together, and this is their first Christmas party. She was blocks away before the first billboard loomed up, spitting garish light and motion into the night. Santa, red-checked and with a manic grin that made her think of an oversized elf on Zeus, rode through the sky behind his fleet of reindeer and blasted ho-ho-hos while warning the populace of how many shopping days they had left before Christmas. Yeah, I hear you, you fat SOB. She'd never had to worry about the holiday before. It had just been a matter of finding something ridiculous for Mavis, maybe something edible for Feeny. There had been no one else in her life to swap gifts for. And what the hell did she buy for a man who not only had everything but owned most of the plants and factories that made it? For a woman who'd prefer a blow with a blunt instrument to an afternoon shopping, it was a serious dilemma. And where is the oh, I must have missed it. Maybe we'll get to it later. All right. So, uh oh, I just this is part of the I like Peabody's explaining stuff to Eve. I like her explaining stuff to Eve. This is a little bit of part of the case, a little bit of spoiler, but it's early on, and it's just I just explained it that the guy is killing according to the 12 days of Christmas, and I just like the fact that Peabody is explaining it to her. Um, my true love. Peabody pursed her lips over the bright red lettuce that flowed in an old-fashioned script over the white flesh. Looks like a temporary to me. Eve bent lower until her nose all but brushed the curve of her shoulder. Recently applied. We'll check where she gets body work done. Partridge in a pear tree. Eve straightened and lifted a brow at her aide. What? In her hair. The pin in her hair. On the first day of Christmas, because Eve continued to look blank, Peabody shook her head. It's an old Christmas song, Lieutenant. The 12 days of Christmas. The guy gives his true love something on every day, starting with a partridge in a pear tree on the first day. What the hell is anybody supposed to do with a bird in the tree? Stupid gift. But a sick suspicion churned in her gut. Let's hope this was his only true love. I have somewheres an old, very, very raunchy, very, very filled with language thing about the 12 days of Christmas and the gifts. And it's very, very raunchy. It's not for public consumption. I don't know where my mom got it, and I don't know why I still have it, but I do. Um, but what? Well, come over here. Stop your crying at everything and come over here. Um, uh, because he knew her, he took her hand, unballing the fist she made. It doesn't make you less of a cop because it touches you. Come here. Come here. You put your fingernails in my leg. Well, come here. Come here. Well, run away, why don't you? Are you going to come here or what? Come here. As soon as mommy finishes the book, we'll go up. Okay? We'll spend the whole day together. Whole night together. There you go. All right. Eve hates, 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 hates shopping. Eve circled the parking deck at the Sky Mall a second time and grounded her teeth. Why aren't these people at work? Why don't they have lives? For some, Peabody said solemnly, shopping is life. Yeah? Eve passed the section where cars were stacked like poker chips 6 high in their slots. Screw this! She whipped the wheel, threaded through the stacks, skimming by bumpers close enough to have Peabody closing one eye. You know, you can buy anything you want on screen in the privacy of your own home. I don't get this. Do you think J.D. Robb knew about Amazon way, 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 way back when? Screen shopping doesn't give you the same buzz, Peabody braced a hand on the dash as Eve jerked to a stop in the fire lane right outside of Bloomingdale's. You can't use sensors or your elbows to jab people out of the way. There's no sport in screen shopping. Malls are closing left and right because they just don't have the merchandise. In the olden days, you went to the store, they had the merchandise. Now it's like, oh, I can order that for you. Well, if I wanted to order it, I could have stayed home and ordered it. Don't get me started on my Barnes & Noble beef. Oh, Jesus. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Just a minute. With a snort, Eve engaged her on-duty sign and stepped out of the car. Immediately her ears were assaulted with a blast of music. Christmas carols pumped full blasted into the air. She decided that people ran inside, ready to buy anything just to escape the noise. Through the temperature in the computer-controlled environment hovered at a pleasant 72. A light synthetic snow swirled in the enormous dome. The windows of the department stores were filled with costume droids. Santas and elves labored away in workshops. Reindeers flew or danced on rooftops. Young golden-haired children with angelic faces unwrapped bright packages. Oh, excuse me a second. Okay. So they go shopping. They're gonna go and talk to somebody, uh, about the case, about the jewelry that was found at the scene. And, um, Peabody says, I can finish up my shopping in about 20 minutes. Finish! Eve turned as they stepped onto the people guide. Sure, I've only got a couple of things left. Peabody pursed her lip, then bit the inside of her cheek to hold back. Haven't you started yet? Haven't started yet, have you? I've been thinking about it. What are you going to get, Rourke? I've been thinking about it, Eve said again and jammed her hands in her pockets. They've got great clothes here. Peabody nodded toward the display joys as they left on the glide toward men's casual wear. He's got a closet the size of Maine full of clothes already. Have you ever bought him any? I'm not his mother. He'd look good in this. Of course, Rourke would look good in anything. Guys really love having a woman buy clothes. I don't know how to buy clothes for somebody else. I barely know how to buy them myself. When she caught herself trying to imagine Rourke's face and body in the place of the droid, she hissed on her breath. And we're not here to shop. And she tells Peabody not to shop. They handle this thing, then they split up. And Eve shops. Madam. Outraged, the clerk scorched her with a hot blue scowl. Lieutenant, got a minute for me now? Of course. What can I do for you? Do you sell anything like this? She opened a bag and showed the pin. I believe that's not one of us. Very nice work, festive. We won't be able to take this as a return unless you have a receipt. I don't recognize it as anything being in the stock. I'm not looking to return it. Got any ideas where it might come from? I'd suggest a specialty shop in the mall. Great. Is there something else I can do for you? Eve shifted her feet and scanned the display under her nose. A set of 3 chain ropes with clashing color stones the size of her thumb caught her eye. It was ridiculously flashy, edgy, toward tacky, and it screamed Mavis. That. You'd like to see the heathen neck ornament? No, I don't want to see it. I'll just take it, wrap it up, and make it fast. I see. And how would you like to pay for that? Peabody marched up just as Eve was accepting the festive red bag and silver. You shop! No, I bought. That's a difference. The pin didn't come from here. The guy seemed to know his stuff and was pretty definite. I don't want to waste any more time here. Don't look like you wasted it. What did you buy? Just something for Mavis. Don't worry, Peabody. I'll get you something. Really? I've already got your present. It's wrapped in everything. Show off. Cheered now, Peabody hopped in the car. Want to guess what it is? No, I'll give you a hint. Pull yourself together. Start running the names you got from the Santa suits. And they do that. Then she goes up to talk to um we can skip this part. Okay, let's get to the next part. Um Captain Ryan Feeney sat on the end of Eve's desk and munched on candy almonds. He's always got almonds, always. He had the lived-in, vaguely morose face of a basset hound and a wary thatch of russet hair, sprinkled thin, steely silver threads of silver that was a rust-spotted splotch on his rumpled shirt. He looked harmless. Now as captain of the Electronic Detective Division, he was an invaluable resource to her. I wish I could tell you the Babel was one of a kind. Still, there's only a dozen stores in the city that sell it. How many do we have to trace? 49 of them were sold in the last 7 weeks. 48 were credit only one cash transaction. That could be him. More than likely, the cash deal was at Sal Gold and Silver. I'll check it out. Nothing to it. Got anything else? McNabb's willing and able. McNabb? He liked working with you. The boy's good and sharp. You could toss him any grunt work. He gives Peabody the fish eye. You don't think people can handle him? Peabody can handle him? Yeah, she's a big girl, and I could use him. There goes Peabody. All right. Captain Feeney said you're finished with me for the day. Right, I'm just running some names before I go. He mentioned that you were going to use McNabb for some of the e-work. That's right. Eve angled her head, then kicked back in her chair as Peabody struggled to keep her face controlled. You got a problem with that? No, that is Dallas. You really don't need him. He's such a pain in the ass. Eve smiled cheerfully. He's not a pain in my ass. I guess you'll just have to work on making your ass a little tougher, Peabody. But buck up. He'll do most of what I give him over in EDD. He won't be around here much. He'll find a way, Peabody muttered. He's such a show-off. He does good work. Yeah. Is this it? Let me see. She shows off. She shows off with work. One of her one of the people she interviewed told her about. So, Roarke Industries rose, 8 points yesterday? His brow winged up. 8 3/4. Have you developed an interest in the stock market, Lieutenant? Maybe I'm just keeping an eye on you. Your stock goes up and down. I might have to dump you. I'll bring that point up at the next shareholders meeting. Then, let's see what this one is. Peabody catches Roarke and Eve in a kissing situation. At a loss, she did the only thing she could think of and worked up the fake, slightly embarrassed cough of the intruder. Roarke ran his hands down Eve's arms and smiled toward the doorway. Good morning, Peabody. Coffee? Yeah, thanks. It's pretty cold outside. Really? Roarke said as Eve moved back toward her desk. Yeah, it's not supposed to get up to freezing. We might get some flurries this afternoon. What are you, the National Weather Service? I love it. All right. Let's see. Running out of feed all that data to McNabb, Eve ordered Peabody when they were in the tube again. All of it? Eve didn't spare much sympathy despite Peabody's wide, shocked eyes. All. Start with the matches on Greenbaum and then give him the personnel. Go from there into the client list and go back 1 year. I have a feeling our man is living pretty much in the present. Buck up, Peabody. Pouting's not attractive. Now, the lady in the store is giving Eve a hard time. And personalized scent. We feed our personality and physical traits into a program and create a scent that is uniquely you. The container is your choice. Each is one of a kind, and one selected will never be made again. Interesting. They make thoughtful gifts, she arched a razor-thin brow, but are quite exclusive and expensive. Really? I want one. Naturally, the purchase must be prepaid before programming. Seriously riled, Eve imagined grabbing a handful of that stiff, streaked hair and wrapping the perfect sneer face firmly against the console. She took one step back as hurried footsteps sounded on the floor behind her. And the manager comes in and points at Eve being the problem. And the guy looks at her and he's starting to go, "And what can I do for you, dear heart?" And then he looks at her and he goes, "I know that face." With a dramatic toss of his head, he circled Eve and gave her a whiff of his scent. "Faces are, after all, my art, my business, my stock in trade. I've seen yours. Oh, yes, I have indeed. Look, pal, Rock's wife." And the clerk goes, "Rock's wife? Really?" I love it. And we're going to get it some more. Shoot. You catch some transfer, go back to the house and work with McNabb. Why don't you just punch me in the face with a bare fist? Handle it, Peabody. I'm going into Central. I'll need to give Whitney an update, and I want to see Mira start her work on a profile. Maybe you'll pick up a few more Christmas presents on the way. Was that sarcasm? I don't think so. It was too direct for sarcasm. I love it. I love it. Then, later on, McNabb tells her, uh, Charles Monroe popping on both. Missed him first pass because he put another name on the credit slip for the mailing list of the new products and specials. Profile on Monroe included. And Eve knows exactly who Charles Monroe is. Then she, let's see, what's this one? Shoot. There's something I should tell you. Rourke waited until Eve scooped up the last of the egg white omelet and smiled at her as he tapped her coffee. About the natural perfection beauty products. You own it. He's like, yeah. You get what you pay for. Lip dye at 200 credits a tube, for Christ's sakes. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I don't set the prices. I just manage the profits. Let's see. Peabody comes in. Does he always look like that in the morning? Peabody wanted to know. He always looks like that, period. Are you sure he's human? Not always. And then the rest of it goes to the plot. And they work over Peabody for the assignment, and Trina's there. And Eve is petrified of Trina, absolutely petrified of her. So while Trina and the gang are working Peabody for the assignment, Eve goes sees Charles, and he calls her Lieutenant Sugar. I think we're just gonna skip that part. So then, Nadine comes to her office to get um a statement on the murders that's going on, and then she figures out what's going on with Peabody, and she calls her on it. Right, that's part of the uh plot, so we'll skip that. And then she goes home and discovers there's a tree in every room in the house, and this is their first Christmas. Hi, Sandy. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right, and let's see what the next one is. Um. Oh, Peabody was all made up for her undercover assignment, and she walks in and she goes, "Jesus, you'd think those morons hadn't seen me out of uniform before." Henderson offered to leave his wife and kids for a weekend with me in Barbados. Ah, hmm. The one thing that really they're on a dating list for undercover assignment. The one thing that really irritated Peabody was that McNabb was on her match list. It didn't matter that it was most likely due to the fact that her profile and his had been altered to fit those of the victims. McNabb goes bonkers. His Roarke sees it instantly. Eve doesn't see it, but Roarke sees it instantly that McNabb is totally head over heels in love with Peabody. Um, uh, let's skip all this. Let's see. Oh, they were in the lab. Dick Berensky is the chief lab tech, and he's really fantastic at his job. And they're just finishing up with him. And she says, "I'm leaving, Peabody, sir." Peabody jerked her nose into a lab chair and blinked blindly. "We're moving," Eve said shortly. "Dickie, I'm counting on you." Yeah, I know. I don't think I got my invite to your big party tomorrow night. Must have gotten lost. This is the huge, massive party. I did that. Alright. Now, it's Christmas. Or almost Christmas. There was Somerset. "Your guests have already arrived. You were expected 20 minutes ago." Kiss my butt. The prospects hold no appeal for me. One moment of your time, however, Lieutenant. Life's too short to spend a moment with you. One way or another, I'll take you out. "The book you requested for Rourke has been located," he said stiffly, but his eyes were narrowed as he studied her face. "Oh, fine, good. Shall I order it to be shipped?" Yeah, that's the idea. You'll need to transfer the price plus shipping to the book searcher's account. As the book searcher knows me, he's agreed to send the items immediately and trust that you'll be transfer the appropriate funds within 24 hours. I noted the details on your email. Okay, fine, I'll take care of it. She thinks of something that Rock would like for Christmas. And later on, check out the video. I'll do this one later today, and it'll tell you what she bought him for Christmas. So she goes to the Christmas party, and he dresses her in a Leonardo dress, and let's see, and she has to wear needle nose heels, and Trina does her hair and stuff, and she hates Trina. Trina scares the life out of her. Um, uh, She picked the Down and Dirty Club partly for sentiment, partly because it would be fairly private on a midweek afternoon, and the proprietor was a friend who could see that she wasn't hassled. What are you doing here, white girl? Gotta meet. She meets with Nadine. Where's the Christmas party? Did I skip over that? Oh, no, here it is. Within an hour, the house was full of people and music and light. Scanning the ballroom, Eve could only be grateful Rourke never expected her to have any input in the preparation. Till next year! Till next year. There were huge tables groaning under the silver platters of food, honed ham, Virginia, glazed duck from France, rare beef from Montana, lobster, salmon, oysters from the rich beds in Silas One. Hey, sweetheart, all alone in this palace? She arched her brow when she felt the hand on her bottom and turned her head slightly to stare at McNabb. He went red, then white, then red. Christ, Lieutenant, sir! Your hand's on my ass, McNabb. I don't think you want it to be there. He snatched it away as if scorched. God, man, shit, beg your pardon. I didn't recognize you. I mean, the handy sincerely hoped she'd allow him to keep in his pocket. I didn't know it was you. I thought you looked. Words failed him. I believe Detective McNabb is trying to compliment you, Eve. Weren't you, Ian? Yeah, that's it. And if I believed he'd realized it was your ass he was fondling, I'd just have to kill him right here. Rourke reached out and flicked at the strings of McNabb's snazzy tie. Right now. Oh, I'd have already taken care of that myself, Eve said. You look like you could use a drink, Detective. Yes, sir, I could. Rourke, why don't you take care of him? Mira just came in. I want to talk to her. And she gives, oh, and another bone of contention. Peabody has a date for this event. And Eve has a massive problem with it. And McNabb has a massive problem with it. They both have a massive problem with it. Now, we know, the reader knows, the characters don't know, but we, the readers, know that Charles and Peabody are friends. 100% strictly platonic friends. But McNabb doesn't know that. And that's going to become a point of contention with McNabb. Yeah, Eve shifted her gaze and pinned Charles with angry eyes. Monroe. Fabulous home you've got here, Lieutenant. I don't recall your name on the guest list. Peabody colored stiffened. The invitation said I was free to bring a date. Is that what this is? She asked, keeping her eyes on Charles. A date? Yes, he lowered his voice as a flicker of hurt clouded his eyes. Delia is aware of my profession. Are you giving her the cop's standard discount? Dallas! Horrified, Peabody stepped forward. It's all right, Charles tugged her back. I'm on my own time, Dallas, and hoping to spend a pleasant evening with an attractive woman whose company I enjoy. I'd rather I leave. It's your house, your call. She's a big girl. Yes, she is, Peabody murmured. Just a second, Charles, she added, then gripped Eve's arm and tugged her aside. Hey! No, you, hey! Fury bubbled in her voice as Peabody boxed Eve into a corner. I don't have to clear my personal time or relationships with you, and you have no right to embarrass me. Wait a minute. I'm not done. Later, Peabody would recall the look of speechless shock on Eve's face, but at that moment she was too revved to notice or to react to it. What I do off duty has nothing to do with your job. If you want to take on table dancing in my personal time, it's my business. If I want to pay 6 LCs to blank me on Sundays, it's my business. And if I want to have a civilized date with an interesting, attractive man who for some reason wants to have one with me, it's my business. I'm not done. Peabody said between clenched teeth. On the job, you're in charge, but that's where it ends. If you don't want me here with Charles, then we'll leave. As Peabody turned on her heels, Eve snagged her wrist. I don't want you to leave. Her voice was quiet, controlled, and stiff as petrified board. I apologize for stepping into your personal life. I hope it doesn't spoil your evening. Excuse me. Unbelievably hurt, she walked away. Her stomach was still drilling when she found Mira. I don't want to take you away from the party, but I'd like a few minutes in private. Of course. What is it, Eve? In private. We can talk in the library. Oh, she stepped aside. What a marvelous room. Oh, absolute treasures. Not enough people appreciate the feel and smell of a real book in their hands any longer. The delight of curling in a chair with warmth of one instead of cool efficiency of a desk. Walks into books. Books. We love books. We want more books. Um and this is the case is done. Peabody almost done. Peabody filed the last of her paperwork, let out a long self-pitying sigh, then caught sight of McNabb in the doorway. What? Just passing by. I told you Dallas said you're off duty. I am, when my reports are finished and filed. He smiled blandly at a machine reported finally complete. Then I guess you're off. Hot date with Mr. Slick? You're really ignorant, McNabb. Peabody pushed away from the desk. You don't spend Christmas Eve with a guy you only dated once. Besides, she thought Charles had already been booked for the evening. Your family's not around here, are they? No. Stalling, willing to leave, she fussed around the desk. Couldn't get home for Christmas? No, not this year. Me neither. This case has eaten away at my social life. I got no plans either. What do you say, Peabody? Want to call it a truce? A Christmas moratorium? I'm not at war with you. She turned to get a uniform coat from a hook. You look a little down. It's been a long day. Well, if you're not going to spend Christmas Eve with Mr. Slick, why don't you spend it with a fellow cop? It's a bad night to be alone. I'll buy you a drink, some dinner. She kept her head lowered as she buttoned her coat. Christmas Eve alone or a couple of hours with McNabb. Neither were appealing, but she decided alone was worse. I don't like you well enough for you to buy me dinner. She looked up, shrugged. We'll split the check. And they did. And they split the check. And there you go. Holiday
Christina,
in death.
your reminder.
Holiday in death. We love holiday in death. And please check later today for the what Eve got for Roarke. Check out that video later today. Have a good one. Okay. I missed a few items. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stick this on the end of the other video. It took 6 hours to upload, so I have to redo it. But I missed a few things, and I wanted to come back and share them with you. I also wanted to share with you all right, we had a little interruption. So, we were doing Holiday in Death. Hello, that's my girl. And we've been reading my favorite parts, the character parts. I wasn't spoiling the plot. If you, I put it in the description of the original video, and I'll put it in the description of this video if I make it separate or not. So, I wanted to share a few extra pieces that I forgot to share in the previous video. So, it was someone was killing people by using the song The 12 Days of Christmas. It is also the first Christmas party. And it's also the first time that Eve is purchasing gifts for other people. And we read the part early on in the video where Eve specifically told Peabody not to shop, and then she herself shopped. And Eve explained to Peabody that she didn't go shopping, she just purchased. And please check out the video, please. But I did want to share during the video, Eve makes a purchase for Dr. Mira in the fragrance store. And I wanted to, I missed that. It's during the Christmas party. And I missed that part. It's after she's had words with Peabody about Charles. And Eve is still feeling a little guilty about giving the words to Peabody about Charles Monroe, our licensed companion. And she says, they're in the library. They have left the Christmas party, and they're in the library. And she says, I wanted to give you this. It's a couple of days early, but I might not see you. Feeling ridiculously awkward, she held out the elegant wrapped box. Oh, how sweet of you. With obvious delight, Myra grasped the box in her hands. May I open it now? Sure, that's the deal, right? She shifted her feet, then rolled her eyes as Myra delicately untied the fussy bow and painstakingly unfolded the corners on the paper. Drives my family crazy too, she said with a laugh. I can't just rip into it. Then I save the paper and ribbon like a pack rat. I have a closet full of it, which I constantly forget to reuse. But she trailed off. She opened the lid and found the bottle of scent inside. Why, Eve, it's lovely. It has my name etched on it. It's this personal sort of fragrance. You give the physical and personality traits, then he creates an individual fragrance. Charlotte, Mira murmured. I wasn't sure you knew my first name. I guess I heard it somewhere. Myra blinked a sentimental tears. It's wonderful, thoughtful. She set the bottle down and turned to draw Eve into a hug. Thank you. Swamped with warmth and embarrassment, Eve let herself be held. I'm glad you like it. I'm pretty new at this kind of thing. You did very well. She drew back, but caught Eve's face in her hands. I'm so proud of you. Now I need the powder room because another of my Christmas traditions is to weep a little over my gifts. I know where it is, she added, patting Eve's cheeks. You go dance with your husband and drink a little too much champagne. The world outside will still be there tomorrow. I think. Let me see what this other one is first. Oh, okay, so we did all that. Her friends dance with each other, and it's great. It's just awesome. Their camaraderie at the Christmas party. So, after Holiday and Death comes Midnight and Death. However you want to read it. Or read it. A person can never have too many copies of a book. Midnight and Death. You can get it in this book, or you can get it in this book. If you're not a fan of these other ladies, get it in this book. We have a new killer, and the killer is killing on Christmas Day. But I just wanted to share a few pieces of we didn't actually get to see this in Holiday and Death. The book ends at midnight Christmas Eve to Christmas. Ice from previous night storms glinted like silver silk on naked branches. Ornamental shrubs and evergreens glistened with it. Beyond them, the house rose and spread an elegant fortress, a testament to an earlier century, with its beautiful stone in acres of glass. Neither of them had had much in the way of pretty holiday trees with gaily wrapped gifts stacked under them in their lives. Their childhoods had been misery, and they had compensated for it in different ways. Rourke had been to acquire to become one of the richest and most powerful men in the world, by whatever means available. Hers had been to take control, to become part of the system that had failed her when she was a child. Hers was law, his or had been circumventing law. Now, not quite a year since another murder had put them on the same ground, they were a unit. She wondered if she would ever understand how they managed it. She left the car out front, walked up the steps, through the door, into the kind of wealth that fantasies were made of. Old polished wood, sparkling crystal, ancient rugs, lovingly preserved, an art that museums would have wept for. She shrugged off her jacket, started to toss it over the newel post. Then, gritting her teeth, she backtracked and hung it up. She and Somerset Rourke's aide-de-camp had declared a tacit truce in their snipping war. That would be no pot shots on Christmas, she decided. She could stand it if he could. Originally only marginally pleased that he didn't slither into the foyer and hiss at her as he normally did, Eve headed into the main parlor. Rourke was there, sitting by the fire, reading the first edition of Yeats that she'd given to him. It had been the only gift she'd been able to come up with for the man who not only had everything but owned most of the plants where it was manufactured. He glanced up, smiled at her. Her stomach fluttered as it often did. Just a look, just a smile, and her system went jittery. He looked so perfect, she thought. He was dressed casually for the day, in black, his long, lean body relaxing in a chair, probably made 200 years before. He had the face of a god with slightly wicked intentions, eyes blazing Irish blue, and a mouth created to destroy a woman's control. Power sat attractively on him, as sleek and sexy, Eve thought, as the rich fall of black hair that skimmed nearly to his shoulders. He closed the book, set it aside, then held out a hand to her. "I'm sorry I had to leave." She crossed to him, linked her fingers with his. "I'm sorry that I'm going to have to go up and work at least for a few hours. Got a few minutes?" "Yeah, maybe, just." And she let him pull her into his lap. She let herself close to her eyes and simply wallow there at the scent and the feel of him. "Not exactly the kind of day you planned. That's what I get for marrying a cop." Ireland sang quietly in his voice, the lilt of a sexy poet, "for loving one," he added, and tipped his face up to hers. "It's a pretty lousy deal right now." "Not from where I'm sitting." He combed his fingers through her short hair. "You're what I want, Eve, the woman who leaves her home to stand over the dead, and the one who knew what copy of Yeats would mean to me. I'm better with the dead than buying presents, otherwise I could have come up with more than one." She looked over at the small mountain of gifts under the tree, gifts it had taken her more than an hour to open, and made her wince made him laugh. "You know, one of the greatest rewards in giving you presents, Lieutenant, is the baffled embarrassment they cause you. I hope you got it out of your system for a while." Was his only response. She wasn't used to gifts. He thought, hadn't been given anything as a child but pain. "Have you decided what to do with the last one?" The final box he'd given her had been empty, and he'd enjoy seeing her puzzlement and frown, just as he enjoyed seeing her grin at him when he told her it was a day. A day. She could fill it with whatever she liked. He would take her wherever she wanted to go, and they would do whatever she wanted to do, off planet or on, in reality or through the hollow room. Any time, any place, any world was her for the asking. "No, I haven't had much time to think about it, though. It's a pretty great gift. I don't want to screw it up." And then they start talking about business. But I also wanted to share Peabody's gift to Eve. Um, uh, because she believed that herself, Eve moved her shoulders. Then get some coffee, Peabody. I've got plenty of work here. Yes, sir. She stepped forward, pulling a small wrapped box from her pocket, setting it on the desk as she went to the auto chef. Your Christmas present. I didn't get a chance to give it to you before. I guess we were a little busy. Eve toyed with the ribbon. Gifts always made her feel odd, but she could sense Peabody's eyes on her. She ripped off the red foil, opened the lid. It was a silver star, a little dented, a bit discolored. It's an old sheriff's badge, Peabody told her. I don't guess it's like Wyatt Earp's or anything, but it's official. I thought you'd get a kick out of it. You know, the long-standing tradition of law and order. Absurdly touched, Eve grinned. Yeah, it's great. For the fun of it, she took it out and pinned it to her shirt. Does this make you the deputy? It suits you, Dallas. You've stood up wherever, whenever. Looking up, Eve met her eyes. You stand, Peabody. I wouldn't have called you in today if I thought different. I guess I needed to hear that. Thanks. Well, she hesitated, then lifted her brows in question. Problem? No, I just, um, um, you didn't like your present, Eve said lightly. You have to take that up with Leonardo. What present? What's he got to do with it? He made that wardrobe for your undercover work, if you don't like it. The clothes? Like magic. Peabody's face cleared. I get to keep all those mad clothes? All of them? What the hell am I supposed to do with them? Now, are you going to stand around grinning like an idiot, or can I get on with things here? I can grin and work at the same time, sir. You gotta love Peabody. And her next gifts are just as cute. Oh, and we'll be coming back to this book because we gotta do Interlude and Death, and we gotta do Haunted and Death when they show up later. Oh, you can do it here. Oh, you can do it here. And don't forget here. Have a good one.